What's going on, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Lee, aka Rollin Thunder, and in today's video, ladies and gentlemen, a thing happened. We're going to test my brand new 2013 Yamaha R1. So without further ado, let us jump aboard, get that first cold start on camera, and let us get going. So without further ado, sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea, and let us get into the video. So ladies and gentlemen, how are we all doing? I hope you're doing well. And as the title of the video suggests, this is the first ride of my new to me 2013 Yamaha R1, which I purchased last week. And this is without shadow of a doubt one of the scariest, most anticipated moments of my riding career, and I am scared shitless. But just like all good motorcyclists, we shall adapt and persevere. Now, as you can imagine, this is a very scary moment for me, because this is the newest, most powerful bike I've ever owned, with a claimed 182 bhp at the crank. What that equates to at the rear wheel is beyond my comprehension right now. And okay, today probably isn't the best day to learn how to ride a new bike. Well, a new to me bike anyway, because let's face it, I'm so used to riding my 2007 Ducati 1098. So the clutch biting point, the throttle biting point, and everything between is a hell of a lot different to what I'm used to. So please forgive me if at points I decide to go very quiet. It's not intentional, I promise you. It's literally nerves. As you can see, just like with any other 09 to 2014 R1, we got a fairly basic display, which is good in a way, because let's face it, I'm a basic kind of human being. I have to get used to how light the clutch is. The last cable clutched bike that I rode was the Ninja H2 that I rode about 2 years ago. So as you can imagine, trying to learn it all over again is somewhat daunting, because this bike is very lively. And I've already been warned by Sean at my work, who is the resident mechanic, that I need to take things exceptionally slowly till I get used to riding it, at least anyway. As just like with any other new thing that you do for the first time, you do unfortunately scare yourself shitless, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. But listen to those exhausts. We've got the Akropovich carbon exhaust canisters. By all accounts, they're just the end cans, there's no headers or link pipe. But right now, it sounds absolutely fucking lovely. I do apologise, like I said, that there may be times where I get very quiet. That is literally because I'm learning more and more about this bike as I ride it. Not to mention the fact that I have tyres on this bike that I am not familiar with. It's also freezing cold and it's been raining. So as you can appreciate, trying to learn all this in one night is quite a daunting task. But listen to the burble. The burble that comes out of these cans, oh my god. I know I said I liked the exhaust note of my 1098, and don't get me wrong, I still do. But the burble on the overrun, my good god. And like I will have to keep saying, or should I say, like unfortunately I'm going to have to keep saying, I am learning this bike. I am learning more and more about it the more I'm on it. And believe it or not, I've actually had this bike legally, well, legally owned it, should I say, since last Friday. So literally been in my possession since last Friday. It took a whole weekend to try and sort out insurance for it, and to get the road tax put in place and so on. But I'm pleased to say that we are now in a position where I can say legally, and I mean legally in the nicest possible way, I am now allowed out on it. And okay, it's not exactly the best conditions to be riding in, but I'd rather ride in these conditions and get used to it at slow speeds, rather than try and ride at stupid speeds in the dry and in the sun, where I can make even more mistakes. And straight off the bat, what do I think? I'm actually in love with it. I really am. I never thought I'd say that about an R1, but this particular shape of R1, the big bang shape, has always been a fan favourite of mine. And I actually love it. The noise that comes out of these exhausts is absolutely fucking biblical. She feels like she's got an absolute shit ton of power behind her, and I can't stress this enough, ladies and gents. Trying to ride this bike for the first time and talk about it is somewhat of a challenge for me, but I am not going to let that stop me from enjoying myself. So let's talk about a few of the features. If you've watched one Big Bang R1 review, you've watched them all. But for me, the slightly scary thing for me is literally just how quickly this thing picks up. It's like literally the throttle input that I'm putting through the bar isn't even shown on the dash yet. But it's like, wow. I'm just fucking glad that it's not actually raining, because believe it or not, if it was raining, I definitely would have wimped out of riding this home. I really would. But hand on heart, so far she's everything and more. But literally, second gear, no effort whatsoever, absolutely none. I need to learn this rev matching business, because trying to rev match on this is not working out for me at the moment. But I will learn, because I'm so used to riding a bike with a hydraulic clutch. As you guys know, my 2007 1098 has a rather heavy hydraulic clutch, whereas this bike is a cable, and the actual lever action is light as a fucking feather. Quite literally no effort involved. This fucking idiot's not even looking the right way, but there you go. But I'm not gonna lie, having this bike in my possession officially now, it just hits home how hard I've worked to get to where I'm at now. And I've been warned about the front brakes on this bike by our resident mechanic, Mr. Sean, that they are exceptionally grabby, which in these conditions isn't great, but generally speaking, it's definitely worthwhile noting that the 6-pot calipers that are on this bike are developed by Yamaha themselves. So they're not Nissin, they're not Takiko, they're not Brembos obviously. But what I can tell you is that this bike offers a lot more mid-range, a lot smoother engine input, shall we say, and I can't say too much about it other than the fact that it's fucking awesome. I mean, just listen to that exhaust note. The cross-plane crank engine sounds glorious. And again, that's another reason why I chose this shape R1 compared to the new Iron Man or the 2020 shape, is because it's more in keeping with the shape of my 1098. She's got the same sort of power. Well, this has actually got probably about 20 bhp, 30 bhp more than my 1098 at the rear wheel. But it's just an absolute fucking animal. I'm just got to get used to the how light the clutch is. It's insane. It really is. And there's a lot of people that I know that ride these bikes almost on a daily basis, and they've said that these bikes are absolutely ballistic, and they ain't fucking wrong. I mean, okay, fine, I haven't even got out of second gear yet, but I'm learning, do you know what I mean? I'm not in so much of a rush that I'm looking to get myself killed anytime soon. Oh, excuse me. I can honestly say already, even in these shitty conditions, the R1 will absolutely piss all over my 1098. Should absolutely destroy it. Go on. Absolutely annihilator. I know it sounds exceptionally bad for me to say that about a bike that I own and love, but even just riding her now, we're currently sitting at 14,573 miles, and this bike feels so taut, it feels so well put together, that I don't think the 1098 could compete with it in terms of build quality. I mean, don't get me wrong, the 1098 is a beautiful bike and I love her, but the way that this thing produces its power, it's insane. It really is fucking insane. And I know people are going to say that I'm pussying out of putting her in A mode straight away, but I want to learn how to ride the thing first, you know what I mean? Because even now, second gear, I'm doing 40 miles an hour and it feels like I'm barely even turning the throttle, and I'm not. But the fact that she feels so fucking so easy to ride, not when I do that, of course, but it's one of the embarrassing points of this bike so far, the fact that I can't fucking rev match properly. But like I say, ladies and gentlemen, it's all a matter of time. I just need to get used to her. Once I've got a couple of miles under my belt on her, I'll be fine. It's one of those situations where until I do something for a longer period of time, I'm never going to really know the bike's limitations, know my limitations with the bike, and obviously know what I can and can't do with her. I mean, straight off the bat, in terms of seating position, I feel at home. I really do. I think I can get away with downshifting with very little input through the clutch lever. As if I remember rightly, this particular generation of R1, from 2012 up until they changed the shape in 2015, she has a slipper clutch. And if that be the case, in terms of downshifting, it should be relatively straightforward. But I can't get over the exhaust tone of this engine. These exhausts, my god, ladies and gentlemen, it's eargasmic. Eargasmic, orgasmic, everything in between gasmic. One thing I have noticed is that below like 3,000 RPM, she does not like it. But I have to remember this is a thoroughbred race machine. Going slow is not its thing. This bike is built for speed. It's built to win races. And so far, it's winning the race to be my #1 machine. I mean, everything is just so light. Like literally, the throttle, the brakes, the clutch, everything just so intuitive. I mean, the bike is registered as a 2013 R1, but it wouldn't surprise me if this is actually more of a 2012 R1. And you're probably going to ask yourself why I'm thinking that. And allow me to explain my reasoning. It's quite simple, really. The reason why I think this is a 2012 or late 2011, early 2012 R1 is because she's got no traction control. She's got the free rider modes, but she doesn't have traction control, which is a little bit worrying. But I can see past that, do you know what I mean? She's just so, you know, responsive, just so natural, so smooth, so easy to work with. I mean, listen to her purring. No drama whatsoever. One finger braking. I reckon I could probably learn to get this front wheel in the air in the next couple of weeks. I mean, that pop and bang, that burble, oh, I'm in love. Or as FastLaneD would say, that popcorn baby. 50 mile an hour at first. Feels like nothing. Feels like absolutely fucking nothing, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot express or put into words right now how glorious this thing sounds. I mean, okay, the fans are coming on at 98 degrees, but that's kind of normal, I suppose. But my God, the exhaust note, ladies and gentlemen, what can I say? Sounds so damn good. Talk to me, baby, talk to me. I mean, I don't have to ride this thing hard or fast to enjoy it. Admittedly, the 1098 does require a little bit of muscling around, but this, oh my God, I cannot tell you guys how good this thing feels. The burble, the pops, the bangs, the snap and crackle. If you've ever owned or ridden an R1 of this generation, you'll know exactly what I mean. Just sounds so good. I mean, I can't express how good this thing feels. Okay, it's not a Ducati. Okay, it's not an Aprilia. Okay, it's not a Honda. But, and I mean this with the greatest respect of anyone else who rides anything Yamaha, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, God fucking bless you. I mean, I'm riding this bike right now in standard mode and it is scaring the absolute piss out of me. In the 18 years I've had my full bike license, this is without a shadow of doubt the scariest, most full-on motorcycle I've ever had the pleasure of owning and riding. I cannot express enough how good this thing feels underneath me. And another thing that I love about this bike as well is the fact that she's got a 21, yes, you heard me, a 21 litre tank. So I can put 15 pounds worth of petrol in the tank and not have to worry. But the way she just pulls from literally nothing all the way through the rev range, it's fucking amazing. And I only got up as far as second gear so far. Can you imagine what fifth and sixth is like? Fuck me, I cannot wait. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, this has been my first impressions of my 2013 Yamaha R1. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope there wasn't too much swearing that you couldn't handle. If you've got any comments or got any questions, feel free to put them in the comments box down below, and I'll be sure to get back to you as quickly as I can. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you have been fucking awesome. I have been Lee, aka Rollin Thunder, saying look after yourselves, look after each other, stay safe on the roads, be aware of COVID-19, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, adios!